My name is RTO, one trick pony with over 5,000 games played with Renekton. I reached a peak of 320 LP Masters in Season 8, considered by many to be the best Renekton player in the world. I am here to teach you everything you need to know about Renekton. In this series, we will go over an introduction to Renekton, early laning phase and basic combos, late laning phase and advanced combos, how to become a mid-game monster by split pushing, how to teamfight as Renekton, how to close out games as Renekton, and finally, introduce you to the ultimate matchup guide that teaches you how to play against every single matchup in the game. Make sure to drop the subscribe and click the bell to get the newest and latest content that comes out. Before I teach you how to dominate your opponents with Renekton, first I want to showcase some of the crazy things that he can do. You can skip to any part of the video that you want with the timestamps listed in the description.
Better! No! Flip that shit, Let's go, baby! That was clean as hell, boys. That was clean. Let's go, baby! Let's go!
What can I do to make you stay a little longer? You're making me stronger.
Oh! Yo, baby, let's go, dude.
Stay a little longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
That was so clean. Holy fuck, that was clean, boys.
Let's have a bit.
Let's go, baby!
Till I downfall, my love. If you feel like I do right now,
baby! Holy shit, we're clean.
But you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Fucking go, baby! Hell yes!
You want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Yo, baby! Yes! God, I played that so well.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Since you're about to be spending hours together while I teach you everything you need to know how to take Renekton into solo queue and dominate your opponents, it would be ideal if you got to know me a little bit first. At the time of filming this video, I am a League of Legends Twitch streamer who one-tricks Renekton at the highest level of play against the best players that North America has to offer. I am a part of the official League Partnership Program with Riot Games. I am also an active Redditor on subs such as Renekton Mains and Summoner School, including being a mentor at Summoner School subreddit. But long ago before any of that, I started playing League of Legends in Season 1. Played my first ranked games in Season 2 and peaked out at Silver 4. This is important because I want you guys to know that just because you are low ranked now doesn't mean that you cannot get high elo. You gotta put in the work. My first champ was Sion back in the day, before the rework. Phantom Dancers and Bloodthirsters on the ult was lit. I also used to play Miss Fortune, Caitlyn, Jinx, Udyr, some Vayne, and finally Lee Sin before I got into Renekton. I switched to Renekton because while deployed with the US Army to Guam, I couldn't play Lee Sin because of the 200 plus ping and needed someone who I could still play at a high level with. I thought Renekton was a simple champ with a point and click stun that took no skill, so I tried him. Turns out he was so much more than that, and I really grew to love him. 5,000 games later, and I'm still not bored of his kit and play him into every single matchup.
To know what you knew best miss every time we start locking eyes up. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes up. Lost control.
This channel is meant to be the ultimate stop for anything to do with Renekton. We have daily content for VOD reviews, matchup videos, patch note reviews that focus on Renekton. All of this is listed in the video description. Hello guys, RTO here, and welcome. I'm going to be showing y'all a video, game I just played. I had every intention of just split pushing the entire game to show you guys how effective split pushing can be if you do it right. This game, you're going to see my KDA not even very good. It's going to be very bad KDA. I got cut out a couple times, but you're going to notice I am the strongest on the map by far by just split pushing and doing it really well. So in this matchup, we went up against a Zed. It was Red Mercy Zed, yes. That YouTuber, streamer guy, you know? In this game, you see how I play safe, and I take advantages that are given to me in this game to slowly snowball my lead, and then eventually I'm able to 2v1 the Nocturne and the Zed, which you will see in the game. Hey guys, RTO here. We'll be going over patch 8.19 for Renekton. First thing to start off with this patch is I'm going to go over Darius and Fiora buffs real quick because they do impact the lane for Renekton. So Darius, when it comes down to Darius is actually a champion that Renekton does pretty well into if you know what you're doing. Darius, you can avoid his abilities. Renekton is fun because he is easy to learn the basics and be successful. However, also have a very high skill cap that takes a ton of practice to be able to master. Renekton has a ton of versatility in his build pass, has good mobility, and very high outplay potential. Renekton is unique in the fact that he uses Fury instead of mana. Proper usage of the Fury is essential to doing extreme damage like the clips you're going to see instead of just, tickling the enemy. Healing as well as AoE damage. Most champions have a very hard counter that completely shuts them down. Renekton is quite unique in the fact that he can blind pick into any lane and still be somewhat effective. Of course, there are hard lanes, but nonetheless, they are not impossible. Another really nice thing about Renekton's kit is that he is able to push lanes hard and still have 2 dashes to make it harder to gank. By pushing hard, he is able to use the enemy's minions to dash off of and escape any kind of jungler gank. Strong early game, but a very strong mid game. There's a reason why he is known as the mid game monster. Once I have a team that, then good luck to the other team. We will really get into the mid game monster part in video 4 of the series. Single target, unavoidable hard CC. Depending on the items built, I can provide a nasty burst that can one-shot carries. Once level 6, Renekton is one, if not the strongest champ at that point in the game. One of the few split pushers that can also team fight effectively when flash is up. Great 1v2 potential in lane. Level 1 and level 2 are surprisingly weak and can be abused by good laners. Range matchups can be very, very hard. Very flash reliant for successful team fighting. Falls off late. AD caster, so not strong at autoing compared to other bruisers like Jax, like Fiora, like Irelia, champs like that nature. Exhaust really hurts Renekton because he is so cooldown reliant. Renekton is strong into comps that can't kite him out. For example, if they're using a Sejuani jungler and a Riven top, Renekton can do much more to them than a Kindred jungle and a Gnar top. Renekton is very strong against all-in comps such as Zac, Sejuani, Leona, Amumu. That allows Renekton to get on top of the carries and just do work. However, Renekton is weak against peel comps that protect the carries such as Lulu, Janna, Zillion, and even Karma. When you see those comps, you're going to have to resort to split pushing since you'll have a hard time getting on top of those carries. For teammates, I am looking for comps that allow for a hard engage, and I am not required to initiate. anyone who can start up a fight so that Renekton can put in the work. If you are looking to split push instead of team fight, you want to have a disengaged comp who can hold towers and clear waves while you take objectives. Builds, runes, and even summoner spells change on a consistent basis and will make this guide outdated very quickly, just like the last time I released this video. So instead, I am making a regularly released patch note video that explains to you what my thoughts are about what builds to take, runes to run, spells to use, and the general state of Renekton for every single patch. Link is in the card above. I also have a modifier guide that I update regularly that is in the description below. These are as of patch 8.19. This may have changed, so use with caution. Renekton's passive is Reign of Anger. Renekton generates 5 Fury each time he lands a basic attack on an enemy, losing 4 Fury per second if he hasn't dealt or taken damage in the last 12 seconds. When at or above 50 Fury, Renekton's next basic ability consumes 50 Fury to enhance its effects. When Renekton is below 50% health, he will actually gain 50% more Fury. So what that means is when your Fury bar is above 50%, you will do a ton of damage, a lot of damage. So make sure to use those on champions and don't just waste it on either dashing away or using them on minions. We will go more in depth with this later as we go through the ultimate guide. Renekton's Q is Cool of the Meek. Renekton deals physical damage to all nearby enemies, gaining 2.5 Fury as well as healing themselves for each unit hit. When your Fury is above 50%, Cool of the Meek deals additional damage and triples both the healing and its cap itself. Your Q will be the first one you actually max. In about 80 to 90% of your matchups, you will start Q because it has the lowest cooldown and it's AoE, so you're trying to stay away from actually fighting them, normally level 1, level 2. So Q is always a very good option. Just remember, the more enemies around you, the more your Q is going to heal and obviously do damage to every single one of them. There are combos that you can use your Q with, but I will go in that in later videos. Your Q is the way you sustain in the lane. At the same time, when it has 50 Fury, you will heal up a lot, especially when there's champions and minions nearby. Your Q sustain will give you an advantage on champions like Jax, like Riven, things for that example that don't have sustain in lane like Renekton does. Renekton's W is Ruthless Predator. Renekton's next basic attack within 7 seconds gains 50 bonus range and strikes his target twice. Each hit applies on-hit effects and grants Fury, dealing physical damage and stunning for 0.75 seconds. Hitting an enemy champion grants 10 bonus Fury. When your Fury is above 50%, Renekton strikes 3 times, dealing 50% additional damage and increasing the stun duration to 1.5 seconds. Ruthless Predator resets Renekton's basic attack timer as well. Your W is your bread and butter when it comes down to actually dealing damage. Renekton probably is the only champ in the game where his stun actually does the most damage in his kit. That 1.5 second stun can allow you to trade and then bounce out before they ever even get a trade off on you. So using your Fury right is very important. Renekton's W is an auto attack reset, like I said before. Again, you want to try to get an auto attack off before you W. If you do that, you will compound a ton of damage, which again, we will go over in future videos. If you are not able to get onto a target, you can use your W for that 50 additional range to possibly stick onto somebody that you normally would not have been able to catch. Renekton's W procs on-hit effects. So items like Boric, items like Black Cleaver, even Sheen proc from Triforce, really any of those items that stack, it will proc on your W. Your empowered W can instant proc PTA. So that is why a lot of Renekton mains will choose PTA over any other keystone. Renekton's E is Slice and Dice. Slice. Renekton dashes in the target direction, dealing physical damage to all enemies he passes through, generating Fury, 2 per non-champion, 10 per champion for each unit hit. Hitting an enemy allows Renekton to cast Dice within 4 seconds. Your second cast is Dice. Renekton dashes in the target direction, dealing Slice, physical damage to all enemies he passes through and generating Fury. 2 per non-champion, 10 per champion for each unit hit. Slice will not proc your passive if it's above 50%, but Dice will. If your passive is above 50%, Dice deals additional damage to all enemies and reduces their armor for 4 seconds. You should max your E second because it is your engage and disengage tool, as well as it puts the second most amount of damage in your kit when you upgrade it. By maxing your E, it will actually reduce the cooldown by 1 second every time you upgrade it. Even though you are maxing your E second, you really should never want to use your empowered E, which again, I will go over in future videos as to why it's more effective to use your Fury on your Q or your W rather than your E. Your empowered E will be the least effective as your empowered Q and your empowered W. But there are situations where you have to use it. Let's say your Q and your W both have 4 seconds or longer cooldown, then you're probably best off using your empowered E since it's available. If you are going tank Renekton and you are trying to play off of support your teammates, I suppose, then your empowered E would only make sense in that situation to shred their armor. But besides that though, really your W and your Q empowerment is going to do just way more effectiveness. Riot just recently buffed Renekton's E, so maybe they are trying to do something for future patches to make his empowered E more reliable and effective. But for now though, it's still empowered W and empowered Q all the way. Your first dash will actually not use Fury at all. Instead, it will actually gain Fury, and you can use that for future combos that you will possibly do. For example, say you have 40 Fury and you're wanting that empowered ability for your W or Q, and you have like 40, then if you go and dash on a champion, you'll actually get 50 off that, and then you could actually use your empowered W or whatever from that point on. But that is where it can be very, very effective in that regard. Your E can be used to also dash through walls, very small walls. On the screen, there is a map that shows you every single spot where Renekton can dash through with his E, and in the description below. Renekton's R is Dominus. Renekton empowers himself for 15 seconds, gaining bonus health, increased size, and 25 bonus attack range with 20 Fury. For the duration, he deals magic damage each half second to all nearby enemies and generates 5 Fury per second with a total of 75 Fury. For the first major tip that I want to go over, he turns into a freaking huge crocodile. Who wouldn't want that? What I like to do personally is when I use my empowered ability on someone, I will actually R to gain more Fury so I can use another empowered ability right afterwards, because you are gaining 20 Fury as well when you cast the R. Do not use your R when your Fury bar is already at 100%. Make sure you use an ability first before you actually cast your R, or else you're wasting 20 Fury right there. A lot of times you're going to notice that you're going to want to ult early, so you build the Fury up before you get into a fight, because Renekton really doesn't do damage unless his abilities are Fury related. So you want to make sure you have 50% of your Fury throughout each ability you can use in a team fight. When you watch me play, you will see me ult early. And the reasons behind that is because I'm trying to build Fury before the fight actually happens, so I can go up there and possibly even one-shot their carries because I've used my Fury management so well. Sometimes I will look really stupid because I'll use my R and all of a sudden there's no fight that happens, and now I've got a long 120-second cooldown because I decided to cast it early. So there are pros and cons to doing that. Your ult does AoE damage, so let's say there's a target, he's running away, kind of low, and all your abilities are on cooldown, just cast the R, finish him off, you know. Also, you know, your R gives you 25 range, so if you're not able to get on top of a target for any reason, just cast the R. You get 25 bonus range, which stacks on your W and your auto attacks, so that's really useful in those situations. Also, if you kill him with literally just using your R, it looks really, really cool. I highly suggest you guys try out AP Wizard Lizard. I have a video on that too. You got to check it out. Even though your R scales off AP, it's really not a good idea to actually build AP just to stack your R. You're definitely way better off going AD Renekton. This was just a very basic overview of Renekton and his abilities. The Ultimate Guide series as a whole and what the YouTube channel can offer you. If you have additional questions, feel free to ask me on stream or in the comments below. The rest of the series is going to be jam-packed with in-depth information that will make you an expert Renekton player and climb your way through solo queue. The next video will be going over early laning phase and basic combos as Renekton. If you like this video, make sure to leave me a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Put in the comments below what you are most excited for in this series. And anything specific you want me to cover. I'll see you in episode 2.